Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited that you're here listening to my story because I can finally say it out loud. I reversed osteoporosis. I didn't think that was going to happen for me. I didn't think that was going to be in the card for my future, but here I am right now. So if we go back a few years, let's actually talk about a decade ago. I went for a scan, for a DEXA scan, and they told me that my hip was in the osteopenic range and my back was osteoporotic. And they basically told me because of the lifestyle that I had been living, chances were that I had to go on medication and I had to be very careful about fracturing a part of my body in the next few years. So that really scared me entirely because until that moment, I thought that I was the fit one. I thought that I was the healthy one. I was running and exercising daily, sometimes even twice a day. I was very careful about the food that I was eating. And it is true that I was coming from a past experience of having an eating disorder, but I was really putting lots of care in all the meals that I was preparing, even though I have to admit that back at that time I was vegan/vegetarian, so that wasn't really that helpful. But anyway, after a few years after that very moment, I ended up getting pregnant with my first daughter, which was incredible. And then I had my second child. And in both pregnancies, I suffer from hyperemesis gravidarum, which is a condition where you cannot basically tolerate any fluid or any food for the whole extent of the pregnancy. And some women get really sick. I was one of the very sick one, and I ended up getting IV fluids for the duration of my second pregnancy, and I had to take steroids just to decrease the nausea. 3 months postpartum, I broke my hip. And that's where my whole saga about really supporting the bone density has started. So that all started 3.5 years ago. And only last week, I decided to go in for a scan, even though I was absolutely incredibly scared because I was starting from a place where my bone density was really poor. And then after that moment, I had 2 very tough pregnancies where I gave out all my reserve, all my energy, all my calcium. I didn't have a period for an extended amount of time because of being pregnant and being in the postpartum phase. So I was really afraid that even though I had made some substantial changes, my bone density had not changed. And the reality is that it did. So I'm really happy to share it with you today that my hip is back in the normal level and my back is in the osteopenic range. So it went from osteoporosis, which is very severe and dangerous condition, to being osteopenic, which is absolutely fantastic. I am so proud of, and I'm looking forward to go back and test myself next year because I know that I'm gonna see incredible results. So today, what I really would like to share with you is how I reverse osteoporosis and osteopenia, even though I am 43 this year, and my the changes that I have implemented really started a decade ago, but more seriously over the past 3 years, how you can do it as well, and also a few of the things to definitely avoid if you want to improve your bone density. And if you're watching this video and you're really interested in getting your period back, getting the fertility back on track, or supporting your energy and your bone health, just please make sure that you subscribe. It just takes you a second to hit the button below, and that's really going to help me in the future to create more of these videos so that I can serve more people. But back to the video, and let's discuss a few things, 5 things that are really the worst thing that you can do for bone health. So the first one that really comes to mind is smoking. And possibly many of you that are watching this video are not smokers, but it's something that I still definitely need to underline because smoking has been linked to decreasing bone density and increased risk of fracture as it can interfere with the absorption of calcium. Another one is excessive alcohol consumption because it can negatively impact bone health by once again interfering with the absorption of calcium and other nutrients. And chronic alcohol abuse has been linked with fractures also because when you're a little bit tipsy, you're not the most stable person. Another one is a sedentary lifestyle, which is why when people come to work with me and they want to support their hormones, I never encourage them to sit down in the couch and wait for the period to come back, but I really promote a lifestyle that can bring in some energy and vitality. So lack of physical activity or sedentary lifestyle can really contribute to poor bone health, and weight-bearing exercises and resistance training really stimulate the bone formation and can strengthen the bones. Another one is definitely a poor diet, and I'm gonna really dig deep into that in the next couple of minutes. And one thing that I really would like to discuss today is also skipping the bone density screening. You may be afraid of checking where your bone density is at the moment. You may have been procrastinating the DEXA scan or the bone density scan for an extended period of time. But I really encourage you to go and book the screening, because especially if you are in the category of osteoporosis, osteopenia, or you may think that your lifestyle has impacted your bone health, because keeping or delaying bone density screening can really lead to undiagnosed bone loss and an increased risk of fractures. And let me tell you, I experienced a hip fracture 3 years ago. I'm still healing from it, and you definitely want to jump on a bandwagon and making sure that you're doing whatever you can to support your health and not to wait for a fracture to happen. Okay, so now I really would like to share with you the 5 things that were game changer in my situation that really allowed me to not only get my period back and my fertility back, but also allow me to reverse osteoporosis and move from a place of having normal hips instead of osteopenic hip, and osteopenia in my lower back instead of osteoporosis. And watch out, because next year is gonna get even better, even though I am aging and I'm possibly entering the perimenopausal stage. So I just want to really make sure that I can do whatever I can right now to support my bone health. And if I can, so can you. So what are the things that has really been game changer for me? The first one is to really pay attention to my weight. I've been in a very privileged, as they call it, thin body for most of my life, and I still am. But there were plenty of times in my life where I was way below an adequate weight for my height and for my age. So I had to rectify that, and I had to make peace with the fact that I needed to eat, that women are meant to eat sometimes like men, sometimes even more than men, depending on their life stages, or the type of exercise they are doing and the kind of healing process that they're going through. And I had to make peace with the fact that my abs had to go. If you want to make sure that you are supporting your bone density and your health, chances are that your abs, they're not going to be present anymore. They're not going to be present when you go to the beach for all the other people to look at. And that's something that you really need to make peace of. There are some people that are in, every single body is different. So some people are going to be able to have those very strong abs that you can actually see when they are in a swimsuit. But those people are really rare. There are a few of them. But in general, if you really want to support your bone density, you need to make peace with the fact that you may need to gain some much needed weight if you're starting from a place of malnutrition. The second thing that I had to do was to really work on my nourishment, and not only getting the right vitamins and nutrients that everyone is aware of. So for example, calcium, magnesium, zinc, silica, boron, vitamin D, and vitamin K, which we are going to discuss in a second anyway, when I'm going to talk about supplements. More than anything, I had to start including protein in my diet. The way that I go about it, I just take my body in kilograms, and I multiply it by 1.5 grams of protein. So for example, let's make a very simple equation here. Let's say that your weight is 50 kilograms. So if you multiply that for 1.5, you need approximately 100 grams of protein. I should have done the math before starting this video. But anyway, you approximately need less than 100 grams of protein per day to really sustain that energy and to help with the bone transformation, so that you're going to be producing osteoclasts and osteoblasts to really recreate that healthy bone. One more thing that I also would like to include is that not only getting enough protein is necessary, you also need to get enough calories. You need to get enough slow GI carbohydrates. So avoiding too much junk food, too much sugar can also really be helpful when it comes to supporting your bone health. And then something else that I definitely need to underline is making sure that you're getting the calcium in. And I know that there was a marketing campaign where everyone invited people, especially women in perimenopause, to drink a glass of milk to support their bone health. But the research has gone way beyond that marketing campaign. And now we know that there are different calcium foods that are really rich in calcium, such as hard tofu, sardines, so bony fish, broccoli, tahini. There are so many other foods that you can introduce that is not only dairy based to really support your bone health. So nailing down on your nutrition, making sure that you're getting an adequate amount of protein, that you are hydrating yourself properly, that so that you can eliminate the excessive toxins, that you're getting your calcium through foods more than supplements, and that you're getting adequate nutrition is super important. And also making sure that you're not spending too much time eating foods that come from a packet, but mostly food that comes from planet Earth, because those are the foods that contains all the extra minerals and vitamins that you need to get your period back. Talking about supplements, obviously I need to name a few of them. One is vitamin D with K. I'm not a big fan of taking calcium. I prefer to get calcium through foods. And if you are before perimenopause, you may need approximately 1,000 grams of calcium each and every day. If you are in peri or menopause, you may need to get 1,300 grams of calcium each and every day. And I'm talking about, obviously, if you are a woman. If you're a man, you still need approximately between 700 and 1,000 grams of calcium every single day to support the bone health. Other supplements that I would like to mention is magnesium, which is definitely needed for 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. Zinc, especially if you are zinc deficient, and that's something that can be checked with a blood test. And then you may need very minimal amounts of boron and silica. But if you're eating your your leafy greens, you may already be getting enough boron without needing an extra supplements to get that in. After talking about nutrition, after talking about supplements, I definitely need to underline that caffeine is not always a good idea. If you love your coffee in the morning, absolutely go for it, but always make sure that you have caffeine after breakfast, at least half an hour after breakfast, not on an empty stomach, and make sure that you minimize your intake of caffeine to 1 good cup per day. And then you can swap to decaf coffee, non-coffee coffee, or chicory coffee, or chicory tea, dandelion tea, which have a really bitter taste. Or maybe you can try something different like green tea, matcha tea, or you can decide to come up with your own preference, drink of preference. Okay. Exercise. Exercise is also, it was a game changer for me, because I went from doing cardio every single day and having the best time when going for a run and when going for a swim, to really slow down, not only to get my period back and to support my fertility and preconception journey, but also especially in the last 3 years, because I wanted to support my bone health. So I've swapped my exercise routine from going to 7 days out of 7 for a run or for a cardio-based activity, to exercising only 3 to 4 times a week. And normally my exercise routine is very minimal, so it's approximately 30 minutes to sometimes it's 20 minutes per day on the days where I exercise. And there is always some element of resistance training, weight training, and then some core exercises, because I really want to make sure that my core is strong to be able to support my back. Flexibility and yoga, they are also part of my routine, especially when I feel a little bit low in energy, or when I am menstruating, or when I get to the end of the day and I have some aches and pains and I need to get a really good stretch. I also love walking. Walking is is not really exercise to me when it comes to bone density, but it is weight bearing. So if you can squeeze in 30 minutes walk 3 times a week, that's absolutely fantastic and better than having a sedentary lifestyle when you don't do that much movement. On top of it, when you're going for your walk, you may be able to get some vitamin D that comes from the sun, and you may be also able to spend some time in nature, which is very much needed to switch your system from sympathetic to parasympathetic and really understand how to nourish not only your physical health, but also your mental health. A few other things that I had to change in order to support my health and my bone density, and also to get my energy back on track, was to improve my sleep. Obviously, being a new mom, it was really impossible for me to sleep for 7 to 8 hours per night, and there were some nights where I could sleep only 2 or 3. Lesson learned, I'm not gonna do it again. But now that my kids have grown up, I can finally go back to sleeping approximately 6 to 9 hours per night, depending on what is going on, depending if anyone is sick in the house, depending if I need to see clients very early in the morning. But there is also something else that I've introduced in the past 6 years that has been absolutely a game changer for my mental health, which is a morning routine where I really focus on breathing, journaling, meditating, visualizing, and writing and reading my affirmations for the day, so that I can start the day from a joyous point of view instead of feeling rushed and stressed from the get-go, because chronic stress obviously is not really helpful when it comes to supporting our health in general. So we have spoken about a few things today. The first one was about nourishing your body properly and getting the right amount of protein, getting the right amount of calcium, making sure that you minimize the amount of processed foods that you eat every single day, taking the right supplements for your specific situation, making sure that you check with your exercise routine and making sure that it's supportive of your health instead of working against you, and also making sure that you get some resistance training and some weight training in there. Sleeping enough, taking care of your mental health, establishing a daily routine that is really supportive of the woman, of the person that you would like to become, taking the supplements, sleeping, taking a nap, minimizing the amount of alcohol and the amount of unnecessary medications that you're taking. All of these things are not going to be able to help you to reverse your diagnosis, or definitely it's going to help you to at least maintain where you are at in life, but it's also going to be incredible when it comes to feeling more energetic, more vital, and to reach your goals. If your goals obviously include getting regular pain-free periods, being pregnant, having great health, and improving your bone density. If you got to this point of the video, I would like to thank you so much. And if you're craving from some customized approach when it comes to getting the period back or getting your bone back on track, or your bones back on track, just make sure that you book a call with me today, or whenever you're free. I'm going to pop the link below. And there is also one last thing that I would like to add as a bonus tip. 1 year ago, I also started exercising at OsteoStrong. OsteoStrong is a leader in the area of bone health and bone transformation. It takes only 10 minutes per week to finish their exercise routine. You need to go to their location to obviously complete the circuit, but I swear by them to the point that I've started promoting them, and to the point that I've started also collaborating with them. So if you want more information about it, just make sure that you ask me. Otherwise, just go and visit the website at osteostrong.com, or for the US, osteostrong.com.au, for Australia, and I don't know for the other different countries. But if you want to know more about that, and if you want to know more about the latest research in terms of supporting the bone health, just make sure that you book a call with me today. And I'm looking forward to get you started on the process of your healing journey. Bye for now.